So, we're about to break down an expert's take on the challenges that HVAC systems face in one of the toughest climates you can possibly imagine. And believe me, the lessons here are absolutely crucial for any homeowner, no matter where you happen to live.
I know, that sounds a little dramatic, doesn't it? But it's totally true. That machine outside your house, it isn't just humming along. Nope, it's in a constant daily battle to keep your home comfortable, especially when the environment outside is just relentless.
And that's really the key question, isn't it? This is about more than just flipping a switch on the thermostat. To really understand how to win, we first have to figure out what exactly your system is up against. Okay, let's start by taking a look at the environmental forces, the hidden enemies that are relentlessly attacking your air conditioner day in and day out. So what's so interesting here is how it breaks down this whole attack. In a coastal climate like South Florida, it's basically a war on 5 fronts. You've got the obvious stuff, the heat and the crushing humidity, which means the system never, ever gets a break. But then you throw in corrosive salt air that literally eats away at the metal. You get afternoon thunderstorms that cause power surges, frying the electronics. And get this, even the shifting sandy soil can put stress on the refrigerant lines until they actually crack. It's a complete and total siege. So, with an assault that constant, it's pretty clear that some parts are just bound to break. So now let's dig into the 4 most common ways these enemies can bring your entire system down. First up, the big one, compressor failure. You gotta think of the compressor as the engine or really the heart of your entire AC system. Now, in a place where it's running almost all year long, it's kind of like driving your car uphill in first gear all day, every day. It just wears out. And this is not a cheap fix. In fact, it's usually the most expensive part to replace. Next up, we have the silent assassins, the capacitors and contactors. A capacitor is kind of like the big battery for an old camera flash. It gives the motors that powerful jolt they need to get started. But heat absolutely destroys them. So when one fails, you might hear this humming sound from the unit, but nothing will actually kick on. It's just a sudden, super frustrating failure that happens pretty much without any warning at all. Now let's talk about this system's lifeblood, the refrigerant. Here's something really crucial to get. Refrigerant doesn't get used up like gas in a car. If it's low, it means you have a leak, period. And those tiny little cracks can be caused by all that constant vibration, or, you guessed it, that corrosive salt air we were just talking about. The classic sign? You'll actually see ice forming on the lines, which is a big red flag that the system is not working right. And finally, there's the simple clog. Your AC is basically a master dehumidifier, pulling gallons and gallons of water out of the air every single day. All that water has to go somewhere, and it goes through a drain line. But in humid climates, that line is the perfect breeding ground for algae and gunk. And when it clogs up, the water backs up, a lot of times right into your home, causing a ton of damage, or just tripping a safety switch that shuts the whole system down. Okay, so we know the enemies, we know their tactics. So what is a homeowner supposed to do? Well, this brings us to the 3 strategic choices that you have when your AC is on the ropes. You can almost think of these as 3 different playbooks, right? There's the emergency scramble to fix what's broken right now. There's the strategic long game of preventive maintenance to stop things from breaking in the first place. And then there's the ultimate decision to just replace the entire system. And this slide right here really gets to the heart of the choice. See, proactive maintenance is all about finding those failing parts while they're still cheap to fix. Reactive repair? Well, that's what happens when you don't. It's that high-stress, high-cost phone call you have to make on the hottest day of the year when your system just gives up. One is all about planning, the other is all about panic. So to make the right call between those options, you really need some data. So let's get you equipped with a simple rulebook, some key numbers that will help you make a really smart financial decision. Okay, this is fantastic. It's a really simple gut check formula. All you do is multiply the age of your system in years by the cost of the repair. If that number is over $5,000, replacement is probably the smarter financial move. The example they give is perfect. You have a 12-year-old system that needs a $600 repair. Well, 12 times 600 is $7,200. That's a really clear signal to start looking at new units, instead of just pouring more money into an old one. All right, let's talk about the cost of just getting an expert to your door. Just for their time, you're typically looking at $75 to $150 an hour, and that's before they even touch a single part. It's so important to remember this is just the base cost. If you're making that panic call on a hot weekend, you can expect that number to be even higher. And all that brings us to the really big number, system replacement. A brand new unit can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. I mean, it's a huge investment, no doubt about it. But this is exactly where that $5,000 rule becomes so powerful. It gives you a clear, logical way to see when this big expense is actually the smarter financial move, compared to just bleeding money on endless, small, painful repairs. So why does the age of your system matter so much in that formula? Well, because in a brutal, high-use climate, that clock is just ticking a whole lot faster. The average lifespan might only be 12 to 15 years, which is way shorter than in milder parts of the country. So, if your unit is already in the double digits, you are officially in the high-risk zone for a major failure.
So we're going to end with this. After everything you've just seen, the constant assault, the potential for failure, all the strategic decisions, it really makes you think, doesn't it? Your air conditioner just finished another tough battle today. The real question is, who's actually winning the war?